No.
Yes, you are.
Oh, you're recording the behind the scenes? Well, you're live now, guys.
No.
So,
Jesse was like, "You late?" Because he sent me this screen, and I was like, "Yeah." Now I'm sending that picture.
It's like, yeah, we're not
you
as
wanted
ready.
to sit up?
No, this is fine.
Hello.
Sorry.
Well, hello. If Jesse would have been on there, he would have seen her.
Somebody's
Might be
there.
on there.
Sorry. Got it. Granite State Exploration. Hey, guys.
What's up, Don?
Okay, I think that's
When you
going to
see
work.
Granite State, that's the Don on Instagram.
So you're going to need to, I guess, use your phone
That's what I'm doing right now.
as if the comments come through. In there. I don't even know if I need it.
All right.
I know. I told you it was going to get bad.
Oh,
Hey, y'all.
you can hear it on the video too.
Well, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it.
All right, so we've got Don and Belty Cat. What's up, guys?
They're right here, babe.
So we've got Don and Belty Cat. What's up, guys?
You're talking to your phone.
I am talking to my phone. Yes, you are correct.
And they're here.
I'm just going to.
Yeah, you need to turn the volume down on that
Yep, you gotta turn
so
it
we don't
on
hear
now.
ourselves. Otherwise, it's going to be like.
Hey, look, man. I was given a little preparation for today's event.
I mean, really, what kind of preparation did you need?
What's up, Ron? Damn, Daisy
If
just
we
got
need
all
that
kinds
right
of comfortable. We probably will later, but not right now.
Save the battery.
Save the battery.
Save the battery.
All right.
Well,
Chilling.
now I feel like
we
I
are
need a.
chilling,
The angle is
chilling
better
as
from down
well,
here.
Don.
In my opinion.
Well, I'm not.
And I like to lean on that.
I'm an old lady, and that concrete will tear my
Old
back
lady.
up.
Little prep. Daisy told me about this weeks ago. Dude, I don't get involved in this nonsense. None of it. I found out like yesterday.
So what was it?
Just said,
Oh,
little prep.
he knew about it. He knew
Weeks
about it.
ago.
We told him about it the day that we
Oh,
came
he
out of the
knew about
woods.
it?
Yes.
Here's
he
the
just don't
thing.
pay
I
attention.
He
thought
was in
y'all-
the mood that day.
I thought y'all had it handled. I thought you had it handled.
It is handled.
Well, go on then.
No.
Get in house
All right.
and get one before
It is handled. What are you? What is it you're supposed to be handling for us?
Nothing. All right. So, you guys, you've got it. I will help filter questions. I'll be your moderator today. My name is Jeremy Pitts. Thank you for tuning in to Down South Off-Road and Outdoor. You're about to get about an hour of some of the hootinest stories you've ever heard of these two gals
Hootinest.
off on an adventure. So,
An
with that
adventure?
being said, take it away, girls. I'll be over here reading comments.
Hey guys, so welcome to the channel, and hopefully you have watched mine and Daisy's video, hiking the Pisgah National Forest alone. So we just wanted to, we actually had decided on the trail that we wanted to do a live Q&A because there was several things that did not get included in the video. There were several times that we didn't record things as to be expected when you're out and about on the trail. So we just kind of wanted to answer any questions that people have. Kind of talk about our experience the first time, talk about why we did what we did, talk about, all the things. So
It was great.
it was an adventure. So the inside thing there is every time that something would go awry for us, we would remind ourselves that we were on an adventure and that we were there to enjoy the adventure and experience all that we could experience because it was a new experience for us. So yeah. So I guess what's going to be the first thing that we get to?
Well,
we
I'll
have
tell
nothing
you,
planned, by the way.
If we're going by comments, Belty Cat said, "What would you do differently if you were to go on another one?"
I think we would do a little, not that we didn't do a good job, because let me first of all say that Daisy did an amazing job. Daisy and Jesse helped put our route together. And Daisy did an amazing job routing us. There was one little piece of the trail. So Daisy, let's go ahead and let you go ahead and start with what happened there with the trail with the map.
So she chose a few trails that she knew she kind of wanted to be in that area. It being our first time and not really sure how the water situation was going to go, it was important to us to stay near water throughout the whole trip. So I took a few of those trails that she showed interest in and looked at them on the map and created our own path. I wanted a loop. I didn't want to backtrack if I could help it. The problem there was everything was solid except for this one section. And so I looked through reviews and seen that people had crossed the river. However, the trail didn't technically cross the river. But I thought if other people had done it, if we took our time and just paid attention to the area, maybe we would stumble across the spot that other people successfully crossed with. However, now we know moving forward, we're just going to ignore those reviews, those people's experiences, and stick to what is clearly marked as a trail. Because that was the only spot, in my opinion, throughout the whole weekend that we got into a hiccup.
Yep. And so what we would have done differently would be to make sure that we have a trail. We make sure we actually had a trail to pass on.
Yeah, it needs to be a designated, honest trail, period.
Or unless we speak to someone that we truly know, and that can say, yes, this is exactly where you need to go, and this is exactly what will happen. And what happened? Let's go ahead and talk about that. I mean, we were going to kind of try to.
So let's start with this. What was it? Give us a summary of the hike, the distance, how long you were going to be going, that kind of thing.
Okay. So we had put together a hike, and once she put the map together, it was rated to be around a little over 16 miles.
Mm-hmm.
What was the rest?
We were going for 3 days. two nights and 3 days. Again, water sources were important to us, so we kind of wanted to build around that. It was our first adventure out. So we were trying to choose an area it's basically our backyard, right? I mean, the gorge is challenging, and it is one of the more challenging areas we could have chosen. However, we were both really familiar with it because we grew up here. So we felt comfortable enough venturing out there as a first time.
Well, and some of the trails that we chose, we have been on before. We got on the Table Rock Trail. We didn't go all the way to the top of Table Rock. We'd been on that trail before, Hawksbill before.
The Mountains of Sea
Spence
portions
Ridge.
we had been on.
Yeah, sections of Mountain to Sea. We've actually done that. Jeremy and I've hiked some of it. Daisy and I hiked it the first time. So we were familiar with most of the trails. So yeah, that's how we ended up putting this together. Like Daisy said, it's in our backyard. So we wanted a trail that would be 15 to 20 miles. We wanted a trail that would not be terribly hard. We wanted a trail that was next to water so that we would have a water source. With it being our first time out, we wanted to make sure that we weren't scavenging for water somewhere.
So we had no idea what our usage was going to look like. We
Right.
both are active enough to understand the importance of water, and consuming it, especially when you're in these types of situations. But we didn't really have a gauge on what that was going to look like. So we wanted to have water every single night if need be.
Right. And then what else was the other question?
So
That covered the question.
I think that covered it.
that pretty much summed it up. Guys, you're not in a test, so you're not getting a test at the end of this. You don't.
When we sat down and started talking about the trip, we looked at the map. We knew we wanted something because, like I say, we've hiked together several times. Usually, one of my longest hikes in a day was 13 miles. We've done 8 miles together on a regular basis. We wanted something that was going to justify 3 days, right? Because we know that we can cover 6 to 8 miles on a regular basis without stuff on our back.
Yep.
Which is why we built it with the mileage that we chose. And then we had to go into prepping, right? Neither one of us have ever done this. We knew we needed to eat, we needed to drink, we needed to sleep, and we needed to wear clothes. That was our baseline.
Some of those were optional, some weren't.
So we both are pretty, obviously, maybe you don't know, but we're both heavily into overlanding. So that helped us in making the choices for all of the preparation because we're used to minimalizing. We're used to spending nights or days on end living out of trucks. So now we just needed to cut that down a little bit more because now we're living out of backpacks. I think overall we did really well in that way.
Yeah.
We both we had food left over, so we packed more than enough nutrition. We had extra clothes. We had
plenty of extra water.
Yeah, we never ran out of water. Even without that second night, we could have not filled up and still had water available because we both had at least half of our camelbacks remaining. And that was cooking and drinking water.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so this is a good little question that kind of segues from what you were just talking about because of the overlanding. You know, when me and Kim first talked about overlanding, she was like, "Why the fuck would you go camp in a car? It's stupid." But now, so what is it about spending the night hiking and backpacking where you know it's not enough to just go out and hike 8 miles? You wanted to go overnight for multiple days. What was it that made you want to do something like 3 days in the woods on your own?
I think for me, it was just the challenge. The challenge of, it was a challenge, first of all, to pack our packs properly, to make sure that we were completely prepared. It was a challenge to try to get the weight down on those packs so that they would not be so overwhelming that we couldn't go the number of miles that we wanted to go. So for me, it was the challenge, and then the primitive, I guess, side of it. You're literally carrying your entire life on your back. Your entire life, everything that you need to survive is on your back and in your pack, and to be able to be smart enough to include everything that you need. It's just the whole thing is challenging. And then once we got out there, it was so funny when we first started. I had bought just a simple cheap backpack off of Amazon because I didn't know if I would want to continue to do this forever. And so we were on the trail on that first day. Some of those ascents were pretty tough, and especially the next morning after the first night, they were pretty tough because actually the first day they were all downhill, but then the second day we were climbing a lot. And it was so funny. I told Daisy this later on in the day, but that morning I was on my poles and I was just kind of hiking and just kind of going along. And I was like, this is stupid. Why did I do this? I'm glad I only spent $40 on a pack because I hate this. I'm never doing this again. It was only $40, so I'm good. I'm like, I'm going to get through this because I said I would, but I hate it. This sucks. But then 2 hours later, you finally get some nice level ground, and the hike's not so intense, and you don't feel like your whole body's dying, and everything doesn't feel quite as heavy, and you feel good, and your endorphins are going. The rain had let up because we had a ton of rain on Saturday morning. And then it was like, oh man, this just feels amazing. It's just so quiet. And then basically all you hear is your own breath, because you kind of you pace yourself because the other person's doing their own thing. And so you just kind of pace yourself, and you're just kind of lost in nothing but your own silence or your own thoughts or your own breath. And it's just very, very rewarding to know that you're in this space that's larger than life, and that basically it's just you out there. I mean, obviously her and I both, but it was just us. I mean, we rarely passed anyone except for a couple of the major trailheads when we were transitioning from one spot to another. We passed a few people, but for the most part, you're out there all alone. And so it's very rewarding to be it. You realize how small you really are. You realize how really small that you are. And so it's just rewarding to be able to go through that experience and to come out the other side with no injuries, no major pains or issues, and to know that you did it and that so.
I call bullshit, guys. There was some poison oak on a butt cheek. Now, Daisy, after her 30-minute answer, what were your reasons to get in the woods?
So for me, I absolutely adore hiking. I always have. It's a way of grounding myself.
Mm-hmm.
I get really overwhelmed. I don't like people. I hate just the regular go of every day is overwhelming, and I hate it. So I like to get away, and it kind of grounds me, and it's a nice reset. And I've always wanted to spend the night out there, and I can't even give you a solid reason outside of the fact that I don't know. It's soothing. It's relaxing. Yeah. And then after the fact, I didn't know this obviously going in, but after the fact, after completing it, it's incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
Because like she said, we was just the two of us, and we were 100% on our own devices. There was no one there to help us. We got in trouble. There was no one there to show us how to do things or start the fire or make us feel protected. It was 100% on us. And at no point was I like, we can't manage this. We are in over our heads. This was, it was incredibly empowering.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I'll let you know, we just started watching The Walking Dead again. And so now as I'm watching the show, I'm like, my baby's got this when she hits the fan. She's a fucking backpacker now. I've got this in the bag. So we do have 2 questions here. Belty Cat is saying, can you talk about the water filter? Did the water taste bad? Will it purify any water for drinking? Who wants to get that one?
So Daisy and I both had the Sawyer water filter.
It's the same one. Hers was slightly bigger than mine.
Yeah, Do you have any idea how many gallons yours would
Mine
filter?
goes up to 100,000 gallons.
So mine did too. So I'm not sure what the difference is as far as the
Her,
sizes.
her bag capacity was bigger, and then your filter itself
It
looked
looks
a
bigger.
little
You know,
bit
the
bigger.
size of the filter doesn't matter as long as it filters the
That's
same
100%
water.
alive.
But the answer to your question is yes. The water tasted amazing. I mean, I didn't have any. There was no change in the flavor. There was no. Yeah, it tasted just fine. We didn't get sick. It was fine. But supposedly, the water filter will filter up to 100,000 gallons before it expires, and those things are only like $25 to $30.
Yeah, super affordable.
Yeah, it's
And
easy
it folds
to
up
carry.
really small
Yep.
because it's that small pack and just like a little filter straw thing. Doesn't take up much room. It was really, really easy to use. We filled the bag up, screwed the filter on, and squeezed the water out, and it's ready to drink. We used the first night. We used water straight from the river, and like she said, there was no taste. It was good. It tasted great. And then the second night was more of like an overflow type spring that connected from a spring up to the main river. So that water was not as moving, and it wasn't as clean, I guess, from the start. And
Right.
even then, it still didn't have a taste. It was great. That system is wonderful.
Yeah, that second night, the water was a little bit sketch. We were a little nervous about it, but we also had read that the Sawyer was supposed to be good for things like that. So, as far as is it okay for any types of water, we'd need to refer you to Sawyer to get a little bit more research.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as most of the creeks in Western North Carolina are fairly clear and good drinking water on most days anyway. But
And it's
yeah,
typically good practice. You don't usually want to drink from
No.
still water if you can help it,
No.
with or without a filtration system. It's just if you can find moving water, that's what you're going to want to use.
And actually that night there was a trickle off of a rock.
And we were using it as it was pouring off.
I was pouring off the edge of that rock. So, I mean, it was a much slower process.
What were you doing?
It was a trickle off of the rock.
Yeah, I'm just watching the video. Different
Stop
things
it.
going on.
So it was a much slower process. However, it worked well for us, and we felt better about it.
All right. So Callie Prepper said overlanding in America, we just call that vacation. Absolutely. Granite State Exploration. Would you do 3 days again? Hiking, he can deal with 2 days, but on the third day, he starts to feel dirty. Microbiology killed him in college. So would you do a 3-day again?
Dude, I would do
Absolutely.
a week. I would
do
do
a
so
week.
much more.
Yeah.
We want to start
These are
breaking
dirty
it.
people, guys. They're just dirty people. What
We
can I
want
say?
to start breaking the Appalachian Trail into segments and doing it. And I imagine there will be times where we do more than 3 days. And I look forward to it. As far as cleanliness, baby wipes are life. Okay. When you spend the night in woods, you start to learn that with or without like trucks or
Yeah,
on backpacks.
yeah.
You learn some tricks.
Well, and if you're close to a source of water, then you can jump in, clean off, that sort of thing. Like the first morning, I was able to jump in the creek because we had a place to actually get into the creek. I was able to clean up a little bit. The second night, like I said, our water was a little sketch and there was no place to actually get in. But I had even made comments multiple times because we've seen little tiny waterfalls, but they were tucked away in areas that we couldn't get to them. And I told us, like, I'd love to get under a waterfall and kind of rinse off. But that didn't happen. And Jeremy does our laundry. Bless him. He's so precious. And he was thankful to get my laundry when I came home.
Oh, we were smelly. We were smelly
Look,
little things.
We were
but-
Well,
smelly.
there were some things done wrong with Kim's laundry. When
I
I say
washed
that,
mine immediately.
Kim's laundry from the trip was put into a dry bag, which is airtight, and rolled down, and then left in the back in our laundry room for like 3 days to
But I clearly said,
To-
we need to get that laundry out. And you're like, don't worry, I'm going to do
bring
it tomorrow.
itself to life.
It didn't
I
happen.
mean, there was like ectoplasm. I
Yeah.
needed the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It had become its own entity.
Mm.
When I undid that dry bag,
Yeah, I got a
There were
text.
parts
I got
of
a text at work, and it was like, that was fucking disgusting. Don't ever do that to me again.
yeah. All right. So
I
we
sent you the text,
Yes,
and I was
yes.
like, my husband's not too happy with my
I was
laundry
entertained.
situation.
So Granite State Exploration said Kim's good at starting fires. She proved that, but you didn't actually start any fire.
No.
I did.
Daisy
did.
Daisy took the
over.
fire the whole
Yeah.
time. Didn't give her one day, not one
did.
day.
Listen,
Well,
as
I will say this: that second day, you guys didn't get this on the camera footage, but I used the little flint thing. And did I not? I tried to use that damn thing for 10 minutes.
Girl, it didn't work.
It never worked. It never would
Okay, so here's a funny story. During the prep, we would go back and forth. We had a list. We worked our way through the list, and then we would just text each other back and forth when things would come up. Hey, do you have this? Do we need to worry about this? And I'd ask her, I said, okay, what do you have for fire starter? And this thing, she gonna say, I I got wax string and flint and steel, I said, okay, cool, I'm gonna buy a ladder.
And she did. And she did.
It's like,
seen-
bitches ain't
Cool-
naked in a
yeah,
plane.
she's like, cool
You
story,
get
bro.
more than one item.
She gets, cool story, bro. I'm gonna get a lighter.
Yeah.
And then I felt
Sorry.
bad because she had to work that day and I didn't. And I was like, damn it, Daisy, I'll fucking get a lighter. Because she was
Well,
not happy with my
Turns
flint.
out
Yeah.
we needed a lighter.
So,
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I kind of handled the fires, and I've got to give that shout out to Jesse. You guys all know my hubs, and he's taught me well.
all right. So we got some questions here. So Ron asked, what was the base weight of your packs, and how did the Sawyer Mini perform?
So the base weight, you mean packed out?
Because I don't know what the base
Either
weight
or.
of my bag without pack is.
So my pack without weight was 4 pounds.
I don't know what mine is, but I
But
know
I would imagine it's around the same.
probably
they were about the
It's
same
rough- Now
size.
mine did have more of a frame in it, so mine might be a little bit
Yeah.
heavier, but not much.
And then
Um,
my final weight of my pack was 32 pounds.
Was that with your gun?
Yes.
Okay. The final weight of mine was 34, and that
With the
also
pew-pew.
that also is with our
With protection.
defense
With our protection.
options.
Yeah.
Most,
Our
and
defense
and
options.
admittedly, most hikers, from what I understand, don't take defense options.
And especially as
So-
heavy as we did.
Um,
I mean, both of us were very, very well defended. Very
All right,
well
so-
defended. So yeah. And what was this? What was the question about the Sawyer?
How did it perform?
I think the Sawyer Mini
loved
is
it.
what I have, and yeah, 100%. That thing
Loved
is
it.
incredibly affordable. It's easy to use. I absolutely recommend it.
You do have to have a little
Absolutely.
patience though. If you're backpacking and you expect this anyway, because the little bags, I mean, we did have to fill those up 2 or 3 times. You have to sit there and let it fill, and then you squeeze it out, let it fill it. So that does take a little bit of time, but
But
you just
the
have to
cool
be patient
thing
for it.
is you can use those on smart water bottles.
Yeah.
The filter will screw right on, and then you can squeeze it out of the bottle. You could probably fill a plastic bottle more easily and quickly than you could
Than
that
what we
little
did those
bag.
pouches.
But even then, it still only took a few minutes. So
Yeah.
I had zero
Nice.
complaints. Absolutely, 10 out of 10.
And we had read that about the Sawyer filter before this trip, is that they connect to the smart water bottles really easily. And a lot of hikers will take 2 of the smart bottles, put one for the dirty water and one for their clean, especially if they have a good water source constantly.
All right. So we've got somebody that says, no idea how I ended up here, but I'm smiling. Thank you for that, Jay
Welcome.
Clayton.
Thank you for being
Thanks for
here.
being here.
Van City Adventure. Hey. Granite State Exploration said he's never had the baby wipes, so that could be a game changer.
It is again. I
Maybe he'll
promise.
do some of those longer
Promise.
hikes now. Spartan Overland said that he tried to talk you into a friction boat for the fire. You weren't into that?
Well, that's because when I told him that the
Didn't
wax
wanna-
string and flint and steel over at Little Miss Survivor over here was bringing, and he was like, you should bring one of those friction bows, and I just looked at him. So
It's like, mm-mm. Well, and actually, so here's the thing with the flint. The flint is that normally that thing works, and whenever we used it before, it works beautifully, and I didn't have any trouble whatsoever. But I do believe, and we'll have to check with him, but I do believe that that wax string loses its
Yeah, it could.
its
Possibly.
spark. Because listen, I had a ton of spark. Did I not? I was like making fireworks over
honey,
there.
yeah, she
It
was
was like a
making
kiss
fireworks.
But
concert.
it was never
I
catching.
took a lighter and was like, burn.
Yeah,
and it still wasn't
And it
happening,
still wasn't
so.
viral. So I think that maybe the rope itself will wear out as far as its
Wax dissipation.
yeah, I guess, because that finally, after I flicked and it never would catch. I finally tore it apart and gave it to her to use as part of kindling, and yeah.
All right, so let's do this
Let's try some light.
because I don't think we have any more questions. Jesus.
Hey guys, y'all
That's
see
too
me?
much.
We good?
Is it too much?
I don't know. I think I look pretty.
You're gorgeous.
You look so good.
You're gorgeous.
So let's
Looks like a
talk
fire.
about.
Looks like a fire.
So the start of day one was pretty easy. You found camp pretty quick.
Yep.
So day one wasn't really the adventure. It was a trail that you guys had been on before.
Yeah, we'd have.
They did see some cute baby river otters there.
the
Not this
first
time.
time. The first
The
time
first
on
time
that
they were
trail.
there.
Yes.
So let's talk about the first trail. So the first trail that we were. Sorry, to talk about the whole drop off situation, but we'll get back to that.
Yeah,
So we were
don't-
dropped off at the trailhead, and it's Trail 496, and that's up Highway 181 in the Pisgah National Forest. So we were dropped off at the trailhead. We have hiked this trail before. Daisy and I hiked it a couple of months ago. Our first time we hiked in and then back out on that trail, we got bee stung 10 times each by yellow jackets because we got off trail and they attacked us, and it was awful and it was brutal and it was miserable and it was all so
It was
bad.
so fun.
It was
so fun, guys.
it was
We're gonna
so
do it bigger
fun.
and longer.
It was so fun that we went running down the trail, ripping all of our packs and our clothes off and jumping into the creek to try to nurse our wounds.
I face planted off the bank.
She straight face planted. I didn't see it, but she just went apparently straight down.
Listen, because I was gone.
Well,
All
the
right,
funny,
that's
let
right.
me let us. So this is, I know this is not about this trail, but let me tell you what happened. So we get off trail, and all of a sudden, Daisy's in front of me, and she's down maybe 10 feet in front of me, and we're on a very, very steep hill. We've obviously not where we need to be. We're in like the thicket, and so as we go down, she's like, "Oh, look, somebody dropped a walking stick," and so she goes to pick it up. Well, at that point, my foot goes completely into the earth, and I said, "Holy shit, Daisy, we got to get out of here now!" And I'd been talking about bears the whole time, and so I guess I scared her and she thought that a bear was coming.
Listen, there's two things you need to know about me. The first thing is I'm not that girl that ends up got. Okay, I'm not sticking around. She said go. I said cool. I'm out.
Yeah, she didn't even ask, which was really cool. I'm super glad she didn't even ask. Like, wow, what's going on? Because my husband would have stopped, turned around, and be like, "Hey, what's going
I
on?"
don't care. We're gonna talk about it when we get on.
This girl was out. I said, "We got to go now." She was gone.
But in my
Gone.
head, I thought, oh God, there's a bear. It never occurred to me that it was bees right up until they started stinging the snot out of me.
So you felt it on your asshole, and you're like, so apparently, as she comes out of that thicket of mess, her
It's a
foot
bank
catches
drop
in
off.
a root, and she goes down like a damn tree.
Wow, like just flat,
Because
flat on
when
the
we get
ground.
to the creek, I look at her and she's got mud all down her arm. I'm like, where did that come from? And she's like, girl, I fell. Like on my face, straight fell. So I'm like, Jesus. Anyway, so we got 10 bee stings. Well, do you think we turned around and went back to the car?
We're finishing
no,
this.
we're finishing
It's
this trail.
totally fun.
So we go to the end of it, and that's where we
Swole up,
see.
looking like
Oh, yeah.
itch.
Yeah, straight swollen. So we go to the end and we hang out for a little bit more, and that's where we see river otters.
Yep.
which
And then
was-
she's talking about, do you think they'll bite us?
I was like, yeah, I wanted to pet the bitches. Anyway,
Not me. I'm out.
Yes.
I'm on the beach again.
YouTube, river otters will bite and
They will.
kill you.
they will
they're
tear ears and
vicious.
shit off. Yeah. So from that point, so we were very, very familiar with that trail. So,
So let's skip
fast
day
forward.
one.
That was day one. That whole trail, but without the bee stings and
Without
the
the
otters.
bees and yes, that was the same trail. I don't remember the question.
So, all right.
I
So
keep losing my spots.
we've got a question. What kind of wildlife did you see? Any bears?
Nothing. We seen a
Hey.
damn squirrel jump from one tree to the next at the very, very end of the trail.
We did see that spider he was about to have a heart attack over.
I didn't see it. You got rid of it from me.
All right. So
about
the
that big.
point of
You said fast forward. Okay, so
Yeah.
that was the
Because you were
first trail.
trying to get us to tell you the story. The one story out of this whole 3-day weekend where we were like,
What?
where
the
you shouldn't have, you had no business doing what you did.
we were 100%. We did not need to be there.
So this goes back to, okay, so we're on day 2.
Yep.
We get up the morning of day 2, and it was a beautiful camp. We camped where the otters had been the time before. Nice flat by the river. Great. We didn't sleep very well because I think it was just more nerves being
It was
in
our
a
first night. It was
yeah.
dark. It's a little,
this weirdness.
I
Okay.
slept. It's so funny. I slept with my. I don't think I even told you this. So you bring light, right? Like I have a flashlight that's about this big. I slept with that bad boy in my hand all night long, like it was a little comfort blanket. Because
I didn't sleep with a flashlight, but I did sleep with my protection.
My defense option
Right
was
there.
right there too. I was not.
And I
playing
could see
around.
I could see the lights on the scope or
Yep.
whatever. I could see those. I was like, I
Night
could see those.
sights.
Night sights. Thank you. So anyway, so morning, the second morning, woke up, beautiful. It was actually quite gorgeous. I got up and took a bath in the creek. Daisy slept a little bit because we hadn't slept much.
I didn't sleep
She had
until the wee
just
hours of
finally,
morning,
the poor thing
so.
had just finally fell asleep. And so she was doing that, and then we got up and we got ready, made breakfast, and then the rain came.
Yeah, we broke down camp. We were ready to go, and then here it comes. Here comes the rain.
If you watch the video, you like
You
that
will hear
singing
that.
you got.
You will hear that.
But-
So
And it rained for the first few hours of Saturday.
So like 11 or 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I didn't even care.
No, it
I
wasn't
really didn't
terrible.
care. It was great.
We started in raincoats, but then it was very warm, and so we ended up taking those off because we knew. And I know a lot of people are like, "Well, how would you take your raincoats off? You're not supposed to
It's
get
hot,
wet."
bro.
If we were going to be in cooler weather, we would have left the coats on so that we wouldn't be everything.
Listen,
would be
it's
wet.
me. You were about you. It was hot.
It was hot. It was hot. So yeah. So then we go on to Jonas Ridge Trail, Hawksbill, Jonas Ridge Trail, and then to
Devil's Hole.
Devil's Hole. Now this
So
is
it's
where
Devil's Hole. If anyone names something Devil's anything, it's typically named that because it's a badass place that you shouldn't be in.
Listen, it's a cool trail. Okay,
It is a
you
badass
go
trail.
down forever.
But I 100% will tell you that I have renamed this trail Devil's Asshole. 100%. The trail is actually quite wonderful. It is a
really
very challenging trail. We came home and we didn't read reviews on that trail before we went down it, but when we came home, we read them, and it was like, oh, okay. Had I read those before, I probably wouldn't have gone down.
They also weak babies. I'm glad we didn't look at it because she wouldn't.
I'm glad we
want to
didn't
go.
either because I 100% would have been like, I ain't doing that shit with
And
30
that trail
pounds
was
on my
cool.
back.
All right,
was.
well, we get to the end, right? And the end is where the river crossing comes into play.
This is where it gets sketchy.
I don't know if you know anything about Linville River or the gorge or any of that, but this is a river, darling. This is not like we're gonna go tubing on a river. We're gonna go whitewater rafting on a river. This is a river.
Let me preface with the SAR, which is Search and Rescue, Burke County Search and Rescue, apparently is the most active search and rescue, either on the East Coast or actually it may be in the U.S. One or the other. It's one of the most active, and for good reason, because the Linville Gorge is there.
Yeah,
all right.
we went all in. Okay, we don't do anything little. Anyway, so we get there. We're on the river. We are climbing boulders. We're not skipping stones. We're climbing whole ass boulders.
Like,
okay,
like we're like putting our poles away and like reaching, like climbing up.
We didn't have any business being there.
No.
She was telling me that through this, okay? And when we keep going, I'm like, maybe we'll find a spot we can cross. We're never gonna cross this river. It's a whitewater rafting river. But maybe we'll find a spot. So we keep going and we keep going. Well, about that time, mind you, she's telling me the whole time we got no business being here. It starts thundering a little ways ahead of us. And so at that point, she's no longer saying this is crazy. She's saying we need to get off the river now.
I was like, all I could think about, because the Linville River, she is a fury. She's gorgeous. She's absolutely beautiful and she is amazing, but she is a furious beast. And so my biggest fear was getting caught on those big boulders with these 30-pound packs that we are like jumping like goats and even slipping off of a couple of times.
I had several moments of, oh shit.
Yeah, that we're like spread on it like a spider monkey, like holding on to nothing. And so I'm like, the last thing that we need is to be on these boulders and a storm come through and the river rises. That's all I can think about. This river's going to rise. We're going to be stuck in the gorge. It's just all these things that are like going through my head at this moment.
And I wasn't saying she was wrong, okay? So she said, all right, we got to get off this river. I said, okay, Kim, let's get off the river. So we're looking.
So we're on the little track.
Of the guy that walked down, not on a trail. We're not anywhere near a trail. So,
this is the trail that we had said earlier that was
somebody did it. We could
somebody
probably
did
do
it. Somebody did it.
So then I'm looking because I'm ahead of her a little bit. I'm looking for options on the mountain. It's not a bank. It's a mountain. Okay. So I find what is likely a raccoon or a bobcat trail, meaning it's about this big. I don't know if you see us. We are full grown ass women. Okay. And
I know we're smaller than most people. However,
they are trails this big. But I was like, okay, I think we can get up this.
Oompa Loompas.
Up the mountain. So here we go. Okay, darling, I spent the next 30 minutes army crawling my ass through a thicket that I had no business being in.
That's exactly
We're talking about just like grabbing the earth and yanking yourself up.
And it's straight up.
Yeah, you're not standing up. You're not even going to pretend to be standing up.
I mean, we're so low that she had a water bottle tucked in the side pouch of her backpack. And we are so low to the ground that the branches grab her water bottle and hold her back and finally just flip out on my face.
Like I was being reborn
Yeah.
by the earth.
Yes,
So-
yes, exactly.
So
exactly.
you look
So
like
we get
Ace
up
Ventura
there.
sliding out of that rhino.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, it was
100%.
intense. So then we get to a point where we actually can stand up. We've spent 30 minutes on our bellies, on our hands and knees, clawing at the earth. She's freaking out the whole time. She's thinking bees, right? Because we just did that a couple weeks ago.
All I
The
can
whole
think about
time-
is we're going to be in Yellow Jackets. Yellow
All
Jackets
I
going
can
to get
think
us.
about is, girl, this is where snakes breed.
And this is their season.
This is what, and they're
And every
huge
time
this
that we
season.
put a hand down, our
It
hands
sinks.
sink easily all the way to the shoulder. It's
Okay.
like, I'm like,
So
oh,
then
this
we
is
get
not
to
going
a
to be
point
good.
where we can actually stand up for a second. And she's got the map out. Now, keep in mind, we are not on a trail. We are just cutting through the mountain, trying to get back to a trail that we did. We
Because
see
now
it.
we can see on the map that we had, we can see our trail is up
Yep.
here. So we're like, if we can just
And
get
it shows
to
you where
ours,
you are.
yes.
So she doesn't look up. She's just looking at the phone, talking about, we need to go that way. Never looks up. I said, I don't want to go that way.
she,
She said,
I'm like,
she said, no, we need to go that way.
because she's
I
going
said,
this way, which is way like the trail's this way, and she's trying to go way up here. And I'm like, no, we need to go this way.
I said, Kim, I'm not going that way.
I'm like,
Ain't
why she?
doing it.
I'm like, why she want to be indifferent right now? I'm like, I got the map. We
She
got to go
looks-
this way.
She looks over there and then she goes, oh, all right, I guess we can go up. Because it's like there's a little stream that cuts between us and the trail that we need to get to. And this is a spot where that stream is, and it's a very deep drop. I'm like 5 foot tall. It's going to be about mid-waist on me if I was to stand in the base of this.
Well, and there was like a wall
And
of just
there was a wall of dead,
green shit.
entangled,
Yes.
just like,
mess.
nah, girl, it's sheer luck we ain't met a snake yet. I'm not going over there.
She's like, I'm not going that way. I'm like, but Daisy, we got to go this way. And she's like, I don't want to go that way.
She wasn't here. But anyway, okay, so here comes the best part of this whole thing. So we get up there. We finally get to a point we can see the trail, okay? So there's a stream in between us, and the trail's right there. And there's a log about this big around laying that's connecting the two. This log's been there at minimum of 10 years. And if you know anything about dead logs laying across banks, you know what that means. All right,
honestly
Kim
believe we
goes-
could have picked that log up together because it was so light. That's, yeah.
Kim goes, all right, Daisy, we're going to do this real light and real fast. And she goes, with the strap.
Tightens her. Was that tightening the backpack
Yes,
straps?
I was tightening my
Like she
back.
was a fucking
I'm
superhero.
Yeah.
Standing behind her, and like this is the most intense thing I've done. This was scary. We were both like adrenaline was sky high. But even in that moment when she said, I just started laughing. I said, "Girl, that was adorable." She goes, so then here she goes. All right.
Well, okay, so it's this log, and right at the end of this log, first of all,
Oh, the
this
big
thing is
tree.
super light. You know it's super light. And there's these two little tiny trees that go up like this. So we're gonna have to run up this log and in between those. And I'm hoping that if we grab hold of those trees,
Just pull yourself right
that
on
they're
up
there. Okay.
Oh, and on the other end of the log, there's this big pile of what you know is nothing solid. Just
It's
leaves
just a
and
big
dirt.
pile of, and
Just
that's what I told.
nature's
All right.
shit.
That's
So-
what we said. I said I don't
And she
feel.
tells
I
me
said
all
I
this.
honestly don't think we need to step in that. I said because it does not look solid. Let's try to miss that pile of shit if at all possible.
All right, so keep in mind we are both athletic, curvy girls, and we are carrying an additional 30 pounds plus on our backs. So here she goes, right? Nimble like a freaking little forest fairy, just whoop,
But she-
and hops right out there. Then she
I was
goes-
like, easy peasy, girl. You
then
got
she
this.
gonna
Come on.
turn around and say, all right, Daisy, it's your turn. Light and fast. Listen, first of all, I was just a silverback gorilla, okay?
I'm trying to climb out the earth.
I'm in beast mode. There's no light and fast here, girlfriend. I am just like on it. So I take one step on the log, and my second step lands on that pile. My foot goes through the
Straight
air.
through.
But she had my arm and pulled me on the thing. And it was so funny because Kim is not she's not a hugger, y'all. I love her to death. She give you the shirt off her back, but she ain't hugging nobody. And as soon as I put them feet on that ground, she wraps them arms around me and says, "Oh my God." So we
I was like, oh my God, we made it. I can't believe it. We're alive.
and then she lets go of me. And remember, our mantra for the weekend was, "It's an adventure." So as soon as she lets go of me, I just looked at her. I said, "I don't want to adventure anymore."
I was like,
I think
I
I
said,
can too.
I don't either. Can we find camp right now? And it's like, yes.
don't want to adventure anymore. All right, so Spartan Overland said, funny thing, one of the IG followers just posted that they were 1 foot from a big caterpillar, taking a photo of it while hiking, and a copperhead popped up and ate it. And this was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
That would be the coolest photo ever.
It would be a cool photo.
If I was able to snap that when
so
that snake
shook.
jumped in.
Right.
And then, and Belty Cat is wondering if we can talk a little bit about the satellite phone. They had asked earlier if we were able to stay off social media, if you were able to stay off social media and just do the check-in. So talk about the Zoleo.
Oh, we didn't have a choice, darling. There was no service.
So yeah, there was no service. So the satellite communicator, it only allows you to communicate with those that have access to the communicator, or to the ones that you have given access to your communicator. So the satellite communicator, it gives you a dedicated phone number and a dedicated email address. So because you can actually receive emails out there and you can receive text messages out there. So the way that it works, you can't do like other apps or anything like that. It is straight email and text messaging.
It's all characters, and you have character limits per different.
But the cool thing is that with Zoleo, it allows more characters than most types of services like that. So it allows up to 900 characters per text, versus most only allow up to like 300. So it is a really, really awesome service. I love it. We loved having the peace of mind that we could communicate with our families, that we could let the guys know where we were.
Can I just tell y'all, pause for a minute? I'm sorry.
Sure.
The boys were way happier about it than we were. They were way more worried than we were.
They were way more worried.
Look, man.
They were very
I
worried.
don't know if y'all two adorable little motherfuckers have watched the news since 1987, but shit's crazy out there. Every good horror movie I've ever watched started with two bitches walking in the wood for no goddamn
But you know,
reason.
but not
those
in the
two
gorge.
girls didn't have defense options.
Yeah,
I
and not
wish
in the
you would.
gorge. I mean, that
Girl,
was some
you
hard
fell on
shit.
your face running. That was the first horror movie fall. You just, as soon as the shit hit the fan, you were on your face.
Well, she said to run, Mama, I'm out.
But you done got caught.
So no, so they are
So
right.
the satellite communicator is really awesome. So it allows you. So you just have to understand. And I actually just put a video out. No, it's going out. It's going out Tuesday. Okay, so I actually have a full review on the Zoleo going out Tuesday, so you guys can catch all of the information on it. We loved having it, and for the most part, it does a really, really good job. However, that day when we were down in Devil's Hole, I know you didn't.
You're
hide.
still in the camera.
You're still in the camera. She's like,
don't mind
They
me
still see
sipping
you.
on shine right in the middle of the broadcast.
So
No, that's why you'll never be Dan Rathers.
I gotta tell you about a situation that happened. Remind me later.
All right.
Carry on.
So when we were down in Devil's Hole, that's where we started to lose. I'm telling you, man, it's Devil's asshole. It really is. So that's where we really started to lose access. With the Zoleo, you do have to have clear sight to the sky. Obviously, it works by satellite, and if the satellite can't see it, it can't communicate. So
But we were way down in a valley.
we were.
I mean,
We were
that is
in the gorge.
deepest you can
Oh,
go.
and-
The
not just
canopy
that,
is the
and it was
canopy
also-
is super, super heavy, and then there was a huge storm moving in. Remember that. So even when I finally our second campsite was down even deeper in the valley. So I came up out of it and found a clearing, and because the cloud cover was so thick, the satellite still couldn't make a connection. With that being said, it made a connection to Jeremy while I was texting him, because you can text through the app. It did make a connection to him. However, the check-in text that we were sending, several of those did not go through. So our family did not get communication for like 24 hours, which was a little worrisome for them, because we told them we would check in.
Because you had said that we definitely would check in.
We would check in morning and
so
evening.
not being able to do that gave them reason for concern.
Yeah.
And so think about this, guys. I am a little worrywart when it comes to my little princess walking around out here with all this crazy shit. I get it. But the same token, during an 8-mile hike, they were both stung 10 times and almost eaten by otters. So I don't think a satellite communicator is an overreaction.
She was almost eaten by otters.
She ran. She's like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And she was gone. And me, I'm like, "Hey, can we pet it?" And she's like, I don't know, but I'm out.
All right,
So stay tuned for the Zoleo satellite communicator. That will be up on Tuesday evening. And I do a full review and a recap, and you can get all the details on it.
Belty Cat was asking if it was an expensive service. They have a pretty affordable option. Is it 20
I think
bucks
it's
a month?
$20 a month.
$20 a month.
But the other cool thing is that, so that's $20 a month, and I think you can send up to 50 text messages. But if you're not texting and you just want it for check-ins and for SOS service, then that base plan is perfect for you. Also, if you want to take a break, you can defer it for $4 a month, and you can defer it for however many months you want.
Hey guys,
so if
we have our first troll. His name's Steve Austin. I typically love Steve Austin. He was my favorite wrestler, but he's our first troll. He says boring, boring, boring. And then the next comment is 2 drama queens. You bitches are some drama queens.
I mean,
thanks, Steve. Without your
since all of you guys know us so well, you know we are obviously full of drama.
At least he's a nice troll. He said goodbye.
Bye, darling.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Steve.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for the comments.
The reason is his mom's got his Hot Pockets finished, so he's going upstairs to get them.
Don't forget your Frank's hot sauce for those.
But so the other thing we had one more thing. Oh, someone's asking. It's Ron. Is she drinking pickle juice?
Yes.
No.
Ron.
Pickle juice. Yes.
He can't see it real good.
I can't. She's like, yes, we're drinking pickle juice.
That is old smoky moonshine pickle juice. Hooves on the board said hi, y'all, and the fact that you said y'all makes me like you.
Hello.
You're our people.
You're on the right channel.
All right. So you've pulled yourself out of the bowels of the devil's butthole.
We were straight Tomb Raider status. I mean, I was.
Yeah.
So
Tomb Raider status.
So from my understanding, this night was a pretty tough night.
Oh my
So
goodness.
let's talk about now you're out of the devil's butthole. You're getting to camp. What's the weather
now
like?
it's starting to
What's going on?
rain.
Starting to rain. Yeah. So not only are we being challenged with trying to start a fire. Now, just so you know, we brought all dehydrated foods. So the only thing that we needed was hot water to fix our foods. And even if, for whatever reason, our little stove that we brought didn't work, we still had plenty of extra food that we didn't necessarily have to have. But that was our plan, is to eat snack foods all throughout the day, high-calorie snack foods, and then have a good, solid hot meal at night. And then Daisy brought her, is it a jet boil or just a backpacking stove?
It's just it's off of Amazon. It's really simple. Little orange box. I wish I could remember what it was called. And if Spartan Overland is still watching, he can give me that information.
He can put the link in the description below.
But it's just a little tiny, and you just hook up any butane or propane thing at all, and it's about that big. And
it was super tiny, super lightweight. And so that's what we had for dinner. Daisy would boil water for us, and then we would both share that and heat up our dinner. So we had dinner. We tried to start a fire. My feet got really wet that day, and I think it was just because from the rain. But my feet got really wet. I'd already changed socks one time halfway throughout the day, but I really needed to get my feet dry that evening and get some heat on them. So she did a really good job keeping some sort of heat and flame going so that I could dry my feet out. And then we actually turned in really early that night because we were exhausted. I mean, it had been a very, very trying day. We had put in quite a few miles over the last 2 days. Whoever said, that normally after 1 or 2 days backpacking, they get worn down. Yeah. So, and that was just it, is that we were already through a second full day. And so, we were getting a little sore here or there. Nothing too major, but we were tired.
We were only about 11 miles total at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe 11 to 12, depending. But keep in mind, this is extreme terrain, and this was our first time. Yep. We were both hauling 30 and 34 pounds. So we are conditioned. We did a lot of prep. I mean, Kim that's what she does for life. And I'm pretty active as well. And so we had been conditioning before, but there's only so much you can do beyond genuinely just getting in there and doing it. So yeah, our bodies were definitely saying, hey guys, we've been doing some things.
And our adrenaline from the day, from the little bit of a scare that we had. So we turned in really early. However, as we turned in, of course, we knew that we had expected a little bit of rain that night. What we didn't expect is that it was going to rain 4 storms all night long.
Straight up thunderstorm rain. It was big.
Yeah. So every time that we would get a little bit of close-eye, it would start storming again. And so, us being in that hole just trying to rest. And the other thing, too, is if you watch the video, you will see that while it seems like it's a beautiful campsite. If you really
It's
look
terrible.
around,
It was
it was
freaking terrible.
terrible. It
Oh
was
my
terrible.
gosh.
It was so rocky. Well, and that's one thing that we talked about after the fact is that we needed to be, at this point, when we set up camp, we were just ready to get the packs off and set up camp. We were just ready. So we found that spot right beside trickling water. And so that's where we set up camp.
Done.
What we didn't realize is literally 15 yards away, there was a nice little grassy knoll that we could have set up in. But
We made a choice still on adrenaline. I mean, keep in mind, I know us describing the situation, it doesn't maybe sound as crazy, but in that moment, it genuinely was scary, and we were amped way up. And so when we finally got out of it, and we got out of it okay, we definitely were on this just like kind of freak
Just kind of
moment,
settled.
and we needed to just stop. We need to be done right now. So we chose camp rash, and moving forward, we now know we won't do that again.
Yep.
If anything, we'll pause, take our packs off, take a breath,
take a break. Yes.
chill, and then look around. It was a noob mistake. Whatever, it worked out. We got 20-minute power naps all night instead of actually sleeping.
Still sleeping. But oddly enough, we woke up that morning. We were disappointed that we were going to have to crawl up Devil's Asshole because our plan was to cross over the Limble River.
Remember, we wanted a loop. We did not want to backtrack.
Yep.
That was really the only reason. We just didn't want to backtrack.
Yep.
There was nothing. Like, it's still going to take us to the same place, whatever. But we had come down Devil's Hole, and dude, you're walking down like
When
all
you
the
come
way down
down
for
Devil's Hole, you
years.
come down his hole.
Way
For
down.
years.
I mean, there's a reason they call it Devil's Hole. I mean, it is down, 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 down.
But the good news is we both knew how absolutely horrible it was.
Yeah.
So we had both just set ourselves up to accept that this is it. We're climbing a freaking Mount Everest to get out of here, and it is what it is, and we're going to do this. And so because we set our mind to that point, we made light work of that.
Yeah.
We came up out of there. I think it didn't even take us an hour.
Maybe.
And we were out of it. And
we could, even when we got to the top, we were like, what? This is over? Seriously? Like, it was nowhere near as bad as we thought it was going to be. Don't get us wrong. Understand that if
It
you
was
ever
rough.
decide to do that trail,
but
prepare yourself. It is a very, very difficult trail. But we had prepared ourselves for the absolute worst. And it was a challenge. Trust me, we felt every single step of that. But yeah, we came up out of it.
Granite
And
State said that's what happens when you get to the point of no return. You just
that's where we
Yeah.
were. That's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We were like,
Absolutely.
well, this is how it's got to be. So here we go. This is our life now.
and so that's really it, guys. They've dropped off a bit. I think we've still got about 9 watching. Is there any questions? Anything that you'd like answers to? Just some weird random shit to ask these two since they've been drinking pickle juice. I don't care. We'll be here for you guys.
Any questions you have for Down South Off-Road and Outdoor, or any questions for Spartan Overland?
Yeah, I don't guess what I've taken a moment to tell you who I am if you don't already know. I am Daisy, which is one of a 2-part team of Spartan Overland.
We're doing things backwards tonight. Don't mind us. It's the moon's fault. Blame it on the moon.
Spartan Overland is kind of what it sounds like. It's an overlanding channel, but we also do reviews, and we do a lot of our own work on our vehicles. I have a 2007 Jeep Wrangler, and my husband has a 2000-something Toyota Tacoma.
And where can people
And we build
find?
that on our
And
channel.
where can people find you guys over the coming weeks?
Oh,
You guys are
snap.
super busy.
We got a thing going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of UARI in Troy, North Carolina, but we are holding our 2nd annual taco and coffee event there at Adventure Summit on October 28th.
It's the last weekend in
Of October. It's right before
It's on
Halloween.
Saturday. Yeah. I think it's the 28th.
And we will be doing raffles. We've got quite a few awesome prizes, and all of the proceeds go to Mission 22, which is dear to our heart. My husband was a veteran. So come out and enjoy it. Have a great time. We're going to do rig superlatives. It's gonna be fun. It's all lighthearted and a good time. And there's a lot of stuff going on outside of our event as well. So
And now people can actually see you at Expo East, right?
yep, I will be at Expo East.
Overland Expo East, Arlington, Virginia.
I will also be at
What booth
Adventure
will you
Summit.
be at?
I'm not sure yet. I'm going to be with Jillian over at Apex Overland. I'm just going to hang out with her for a little while. So
Cool.
just come
So you
look
guys
for
go
us.
and give Daisy and Jesse some love over at Expo East and also at Adventure Summit.
Yeah, I'll be at Adventure Summit at the Apex booth as well doing Q&A for Artemis Rally, because I ran Artemis Rally in this past year. We actually took first place.
Like a real badass.
So
like a real hardcore badass. So.
Just go over to Spartan Overland. You can check us out on Instagram. You can check us on YouTube. We're on Facebook. I'm also Moxie JKU on Instagram as well. So,
and then if you guys want to give us all a follow or come and see us, we will all be at Mind Over Land.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
That's on that's Veterans Day weekend, and that's a free event. So Mind Over Land, that's at the Linville Adventure Pasture. If you will follow our socials, you'll be able to get information on that, exactly where it's at. But look up Mind Over Land, and what they do is they raise money to take veterans on these different types of excursions. And we will be there supporting them. We'll be there as storytellers at the event. And then it's a completely free event for everyone. So if you want to sign up, just jump on and buy a ticket. You don't have to buy it. You just sign up for a ticket. It's a free ticket, but you can come and camp for the weekend. They're running 4 different trails, 3 of which are stock friendly across the Pisgah National Forest in that area, which, again, we're very familiar with. But yeah, come out and hang out with us, camp with us for the weekend, show your appreciation for our veterans. They'll have raffle prizes that weekend, so that's how they raise money for it. So you can buy raffle tickets, and yeah. So come see us.
I'm cutting you off.
Okay.
All right, we got some questions.
Sure.
Because man, that took forever.
Well, we had to have a promo. Damn it.
We're active.
We're trying to promo our shit.
Thrifty Cottage says that he feels like going up is always easier than going down. Do you guys agree with that? You'd rather go up or down?
My knees agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Granite State Exploration said this was fun as always. And then we've got Bronco 78 Adventures says,
Bronco, what's up?
Where is your next adventure taking you?
So,
do you mean like as our
like
overland?
vacation,
or are you talking about backpacking?
You got any cool shit coming up? Any kind of cool adventuring coming up?
Well, we just went through all that.
Yeah. So for us, we've got Aruba.
I was gonna say we're not doing anything Jeep related, but we're going to Aruba.
We're going to be in a Jeep in Aruba.
Well, yeah, we're going to rent a Jeep for the week to explore Aruba. But it's been very unfortunate this year is that with Jeremy working so much, we haven't been able to get off trail as much as we would like. So like really, even if we're looking forward to this month and even next month, I mean the most that we have going on is the Mind Over Land thing. They're doing the Expo East. We're still up in the air if we're doing Adventure Summit. We haven't made a decision on that just yet.
I'll be leading a trail during our Taco and Rigs event
at Adventure Summit.
So if you want to be on a trail ride with Daisy, go to
Adventure Summit last weekend in October. But yeah, that's it. I would love to get another backpacking trip planned before it gets too cold.
But the
October,
reality
November.
is this is peak season for both of our channels and our companies and what we do. So it's hard to fit in that kind of time. Probably, realistically speaking, won't happen until close to spring.
Yeah.
Because by the time we have free time, the holidays are here and it's really cold. So we'll keep you guys up, and I'm sure we'll do day hikes. And we do document and record a lot of those as well. So
absolutely.
All right. So Belty Cat.
Any more questions?
Belty Cat said they are going to wait for the Zoleo, and thanks for answering their questions. Thrifty Cottage says as a recent subscriber, he loves our content, and he said, y'all, again, we love you, Thrifty. And Don said, have fun, guys.
Thanks, Don.
So with that being said, look at us, right on time, 7:59.
Look at us.
Solid hour, guys.
You guys are amazing. Thanks so much for following the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to follow Moxie_JKU on Instagram. Also at Spartan Overland on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me at Southern Belladonna on Instagram. And of course, all of our other channels, Down South Off-Road and Outdoor on Instagram and on Facebook. Thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time.
I'm going to tilt in and look to you too. Thanks so much, guys.
See you later.
Yeah, great having
you here.
Have a good night. Oh, that doesn't work that way. I tried to use it like a touchscreen.
And that's going to be on the end of that video.
I know.